there's a chance that you can measure yourself where you stand. So it's good. I don't see anything wrong there. If there is anything wrong, I'll correct it before pasting.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome. So this is enable wonderful config T, and then always try to put interface loopback in the first. Loopback interface first.
Yes, sir.
And then interface fast return 00, 10, 1, 2, 3, 1. And then okay, that's all. There's only one interface, right? Okay, fine. So this is okay. Only the IPRs, no problem. Let's finish only the IPRs, then we'll come back to OSPF. On R1, there is no other. Okay, you remember you need to put priority when you configure OSPF. No, we should not forget that. Okay. Then, nice. Verification show IP interface brief. It shows that you got 1111 on the loopback and 10.123.0.1 on the physical. That's right. So I'll use your template and configure router 3. Router 3 also needs just the same two IP addresses. Router 3. Yeah. So there's another router which is having two interfaces with router 7. So for router 7, this is going to be 7. And serial 6/0 is going to have 10.67.7. So with your configuration, I've managed to do 3 routers so far. Now with your configuration, I'm going to do another router. Maybe I'll do router 2. Or I'll finish router 6. Router 6 also got serial interface. And then fast Ethernet. And then the fast Ethernet on the other side. That's all. So this is what we are going to put it on router 6. Next. Let's finish 5. 5 has got F00 and F01. F0/1 and 5 has got 156.5 and F00 has got 45. Perfect. So when I paste this, router 5 is also ready. Right, now let's do router 4. Force 01 45 00 24 4. Paste this. Now what is left is just one router. Ten 24. Dot 2 10 1 2 3 dot router 2. After this, OSPF. I'll do it for one router. And you need to give me the configuration for other routers. Can you try? If I'll do for one router, will you be able to provide for other routers?
I'll try, sir.
Nice. I'm going to do for router 2. Enable config T interface loopback 0 IP OSPF 1 area 10. And then interface F0/1 IP OSPF 1 area 0. Interface F0/0 IP OSPF 1 area 10. IP OSPF priority. What? 50. And write to memory. This is it. Easy, right? So definitely you can do for all the routers. Look at this. This is the one which makes area border router. Because the interface, one of the interface in area 0, all the rest are in area 10. At least there should be one area 0. Only then you can call it as backbone router. I'm going to put this in router 2. Then we can verify by typing this command show IP OSPF interface brief. It shows you what process they all belong to. They all belong to same process ID1. And what area they belong to. Just one interface is in area 0, other are in area 10. They also show the IP addresses on the interfaces. Currently the state is waiting because we have not configured the other side. So there is no neighbors discovered. The router ID now It should be 2222. See, show IP protocol will show you what router ID is taken. It has taken the loopback interface address as the router ID. Right? So I'm going to use this as a template and finish configuring the other routers. Router 1, no change in this. This one I'll remove now. In router 1, this should be 25. And we'll paste this on router 1 now. Right, router 1 is ready. You have any question on this, or you're convinced?
So just regarding the priority, does it need to be different on every router?
See,
Like in EAGRP, we had the same autonomous system, but I think you may have mentioned that it has to be different.
you see, if it is same, the default is 1. The default is 1. Then it will be same in every router, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, we have priority so that we can have different number assigned manually if you want. The default is 111 everywhere. If everywhere 1, what is the use of that priority? There should be something useful. So how OSPF is designed? Whichever the router that you want to be a designated router, the router that you want to be a designated router, you go and give high priority. So that when the election happens, when these 3 routers send hello packet, they compare their priority. If the priority is different, then they compare and find which one has got high priority. The one with the high priority wins. The one with the high priority becomes designated router.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Welcome. And then the second, the high priority router becomes the backup designated router. Now, what if I don't configure priority? What if the priority is 1 everywhere? There is a tie-in priority. As a result, it needs to compare the router ID, and the one with the bigger router ID becomes the DR, designated router. Second biggest will become BDR. Now, assume we have not done priority. Assume that we don't have priority configured. In that case, the one with the bigger router ID should become the DR. Tell me which one will become DR. The one with the bigger router ID should become DR. Which one
Is
will
it router
become?
3, sir?
Yeah, exactly. Router 3's loopback is bigger. And router 2 would have become backup designated router BDR. But because you have set priority, you are changing the game. Router 2 becomes DR, 1 becomes BDR. Now, it's the same configuration except this one. All the rest are going to be same for router 3. Done. So 1, 2, and 3 is over. I would like to do router 4. Router 4, you got 2 physical interface. So let me copy this one more time and say 1 here. And all the area interfaces on area, in areas on interfaces of 0. This is going on. Now, let us go back to R3 and see how many neighbors R3 has got. R3 should have got 2 neighbors now. I can see that. Router 1 and 2 are already neighbor. Loading to full. Now, when I say show IP OSPF neighbor, I can see 2 neighbor. You see, the one with the bigger priority, on router 2, we gave 50. I can see from anywhere in this area, in this broadcast. Within this layer 2 domain, I can see from anywhere. I can see 50 is what configured on R2, 25 is what configured on R1. As a result, router 2 is the DR, router 1 is the BDR. Now, if you go to the other side, let's go to R2 itself. R2 should have 3 neighbors. Yeah, one is R1, same area. Another one is R3, same area. Another one is R4, area 0. Let us see this. Show IP OSPF interface brief. You can see different area here, right? Now let us go to neighbor statement. Show IP OSPF neighbor. You can see here, router 2 itself is who? Router 2 itself is a DR. So you will not see that here. Router 2 itself is a DR. And who is a BDR? In this LAN segment, inside this LAN segment, inside this layer 2 domain, there will be one DR. And between this layer 2 domain, there will be another DR. Now, in this layer 2 domain, who is the DR? The one with the bigger router ID. And who is the BDR? Router 3. Router 3 is shown as, sorry, what am I saying? Here we have said 25. Router 2 is the DR and router 1 is the BDR. That is correct. What about router 3? Router 3, we did not set any priority. So it cannot be a DR or BDR. So it is DR other. Are you confused? Did I confuse you? Is it clear why DR?
No, sir.
Okay, you're clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now my question is, why is router 4 BDR? Between router 2 and router 4, which one has got the higher router ID? Between router 2 and 4, definitely 4 has got the higher router ID. Router 4 show as designated router. Why is router 4 showing as BDR? It is because router 4 was configured very late after router 2. We configured router 2 first, and then we went to router 1, router 3. By the time router 2 was already configured and router 2 has declared itself as DR. Just few minutes before we enabled OSPF in R4. So R4, when it comes online, it see the DR already. When R4 comes, because there is DR already, R4 cannot claim DR. R4 will say, okay, if you're already DR, it's okay, fine. I'll become BDR. That's why R4 has become BDR. Even if I go and change the priority in R4, it's of no use. You see, when I go and change the priority, see the priority changing, all those things should be done in the beginning itself. After the election, if you say If you say 200, even if you say 200, it cannot become dr because dr is already there, you see. Now I have set 200 there. I can see it. I can see it here. Wait, I'll show you now. You see, I set 200 there, and it is reflecting here. Even though it is 200, even though it is 200, it is still a BTR. When will this become DR? The re-election should happen. Only then again the priority will be compared and posting will be given. So let's do the re-election process. Clear IP OSPF process. I'm resetting the OSPF neighbors once again. Now you see show IP OSPF neighbor. Haha, aha. That has become DR. Now there's a re-election happening now in between R1, R2 and R3. We need to wait. There are chances that R1 is going to become a DR because R2 we disturbed it now. R2 we disturbed it. Let's see how it ends. Still into a state. Now R4 has become DR. It is because of the high priority. You see, I told you. R1 has become DR, even though
So is that because of high priority or
no, because
other route riding?
no, route right. Please focus.
Okay.
When I disturbed R2, R2 was a DR, but I disturbed it. Means I killed it. I killed the OSPF process. So immediately R1, which was a BDR earlier, will promote itself as DR. It has promoted itself as DR. Once the election is done, once it has promoted itself as DR, whoever comes, whatever comes, it will continue as DR. Now R2 is coming back with saying, I am 50, I am 50. R1 is saying, so what, so what? I'm already a DR. Wait for next election. That is what happened here. So if you do another election now, for example, I go and restart the R1 process.
Sir, question.
Yes, please.
When you cleared the routes, did you do it on R4 or R2 to
I did it on
do the
R2.
re-election?
What? If you do it
Okay,
on R4, how it will be a re-election? R4 is
right,
not at all a DR.
right.
When I
Yes,
did,
that's right. It was BDR.
now if I do in R4, then it will be a re-election in that segment between R2 and R4. See,
But
election is
when
for
you do the
each
real,
segment. When I do clearing of OSPF here, even this segment got disturbed, this segment got disturbed.
that's right. So
Now, wait, let me finish. And this was a DR for this segment as well as this segment. When I cleared, they were again sending hello packet and comparing and saying, okay, I cannot be a DR on this segment. Router 2 says, I cannot be a DR on this segment. So you are the DR. And this goes to BDR. And now, when I disturbed R2, this was a BDR and this was DR other. Now this says, okay, because R2 is dead, the DR is dead. It was DR before. Because the DR is dead, I promote myself as DR. And this guy When it was about to become BDR, this guy already come. He says, no, 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 no. I'm still alive. I just went outside. But this guy says, no, no, you cannot be a DR. I already promoted myself as DR. But this guy is R3 is about to take the BDR position. That's what really happened. Let us go check one more time on R2. R2, what is the position of R3? R3, yeah, it is DR other only. So, what happened? When the re-election happens, BDR is promoted to DR, and router 2 was not in picture, and router 3 was about to say, because there is no one else to take BDR, I will take B. This guy says, no, 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 I've come back. I've come back. See, my priority is 50, and your priority is only 1. So I'll take the BDR. So it has got at least a BDR posting in this. So there's 2 BDR. In this link also BDR, and this link also BDR. Your question, please.
Sir, I'm just clarifying what you said. So you've cleared the routes on R2, and that's when R4 became DR, isn't it?
Yes.
And within area 10, because you've cleared the routes on R2, between R1 and R3, between R1 and R3, R3 has the highest priority, right?
Where did we set highest priority? We did not set any priority there.
Oh, sorry. R1 has got the highest priority, so it became DR, isn't it?
No, R1, earlier it was a BDR.
Earlier, and then it became
It
DR
gets
because
promoted
R2
to,
was turned off.
because R2 was turned off. There is no need for election to make this as a DR. Any router that is a BDR will promote itself as a DR when the original DR goes down. When the first year went down, R3 says, okay, fine. I see that the DR has gone down. I'm promoting myself as BDR. Now let us conduct I'm promoting myself as a DR. Let us conduct another election to select BDR. When the election started, R2 came back. R2 came back and said, hey, at least give me that BDR, man. My priority is 50. And R3 says, yeah, I understand. Please take it. And R2 has become a BDR. Even though R2 is eligible to be a DR, because R1 is already promoted as DR, you cannot pull him down.
So the election happens between R1 and R3 when the R2 is turned off, isn't it?
Election happens where? Between R2 and
The
R3.
election happens between the router R1 and R3, isn't it?
No. Wait, please understand. There is no election for DR. I repeat, there is no election for DR. Let me make it clear. Initially, we planned very well and we started configuring on R2. So R2 was DR and this was BDR and this was DR other. One word I want to say, there is no preemption, non-preemptive. Which one? The election, the DR BDR posting is non-preemptive. That's why I started from R2. If I will start configuring from R1, I finish configuring R1, Azim, and I slowly go to other routers and start configuring. By the time R1 will declare itself as DR, that I don't want. So I started configuring R2. R2, first it will say, by comparing the priority when all three are competing, R2 will say, see, my priority is higher, so let me be a BDR. First it will say, let me be a BDR. And it will, and if anyone is saying, no, your priority is not big, mine is big, say for example, this guy has got 250. And this guy will say, you are not supposed to be a BDR, I'll be the BDR. So initially, they just only call themselves as BDR, not DR. They call themselves as BDR. Afterwards, when there is no other with high priority, R2 will promote itself. See, DR is only through promotion, not through election. BDR is through election. So R2 promotes itself as DR, then immediately R1 says, if R2 is becoming BDR, I am eligible to become a BDR. Why? Because the other guy's priority is only one. Router 3's priority is only one. So I am eligible to be BDR. This happened earlier. And then what happened? In this direction, this was not configured that time. But this interface was configured with OSPF. So in this direction, no one was competing. So R2 says, I declare myself as BDR first. And then after some time, it promoted itself to DR. I told you OSPF DR election, DR-BDR election is non-preemptive. What is that? Once the DR is elected, whatever comes, whoever comes, whatever the priority may be, that doesn't matter. DR election is over. DR is already there. There is no another DR now necessary. So this guy, even though he comes with the bigger router ID, listen, this priority here, we did not configure on this port. It's only here. In this port R2, the priority is still 1. Here also priority is 1. So it is only based on the router ID they should elect DR-BDR, but the problem is when the election was happening, meaning when I finished configuring R2, R4 was not there to compete. So R2 declared itself as DR even though the router ID is smaller. When the bigger router ID comes, it finds DR already, so R4 declared itself as BDR. Because DR is already there, it cannot promote to DR now. Afterwards, what happened? I disturbed this router globally, R2. Disturbance means what here? R2 gone dead for a few minutes. So immediately whoever is DR will promote themselves as, whoever is BDR, they will promote themselves as DR. This guy promoted, this guy promoted. They both promoted immediately. But there is need for a BDR. So election started. There is one election happening here, there is one election happening here. And R2 will say, see, my priority is bigger, yours is just one. So I'll be a BDR here. And it will try to promote itself, but already one guy is saying, I am the DR. Then R2 cannot promote itself as DR, it remains BDR in this segment. Likewise, in this segment also, it makes itself as BDR, and then when it is about to promote itself as DR, the DR is already there, then it continues to be a BDR. That is what happened. Question, please.
It's okay. It's clear, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Fine. Now let's finish the balance computer configuration for other routers. This is router 4's configuration. It's over. Now let us put router 5 configuration. Router 5's loopback, I wish to give it to area 20. So this is going to be area 20. Router 5's F00 is area 0. F01 is 20. This goes on router 5. And now router 6. Router 6 has got 20 everywhere. And now the last router. All right. So now I'm expecting a ping between R7 to anywhere once the neighbor comes up. Why the neighbor is not commit? Show IP OSPF interface brief. Aha, the OSPF is not running on the physical interface. Something wrong. Show IP interface brief. Interface is having IP address, but OSPF is not running. Interface serial 6/0 IP OSPF 1 area 20. I don't know how the configuration gone missing. Show IP OSPF. Okay, now it is there. It's point to point, so there won't be any DR-BDR relation. Let us also check it on R6. Show IP OSPF interface brief. It's not their interface serial. 6/0 IP OSPF 1 area 20. The neighborship should come now. Okay, the neighbor has come. I can see the neighbor 777. Now go to router 7 and check show IP OSPF neighbor. You will not see any DR or BDR. You will see only full relationship. If there is DR BDR, it should show here. It will not show because it's point to point. And when you type show IP route, you can see the routes learned through OSPF. All the routes coming from other area are called as inter area IA. O means OSPF. These networks are from same area. These networks are from other area. Look at this. This is the IP address on area 20, area 10. So if I ping now area 10, I'm able to ping. That's it. All right. OSPF with multi-area is over.